I decided that after 600 hours of refusing to trade in PoE, I was gonna give it a shot. Not because I wanted to, but because after playing the game without it and trying to stubbornly progress further with less than optimal gear, I decided I would rather trade than beat my skull into my keyboard. In all seriousness, I just didn't have the time to play PoE like that anymore. I wanted to progress, but I didn't have hundreds of hours to leave up to RNG. So for this video, I want to talk about the concept of trade in PoE. Trade as a mechanic that is only about 25% in-game. The rest is on the official trade site PoE Trade. Let's get right into it, because even after seeing how easy it is to trade once you learn about it, I quickly got bored and frustrated with trading in PoE. Buying things is the easier one, so I'll explain how to do that first. To buy an item, you need to go to the official trade site and search for it, either using the exact name if it's a unique item, or using the filter system to look for rare or non-unique items. After searching for and finding the item you want at the price you want, you check to see if the player is online, click the Direct Whisper button, which connects to your in-game character to automatically send the seller a message. You wait to see if the seller is available and wants to sell to you. If they do want to take the time to sell to you, they will invite you to a party, at which point you travel to their hideout and accept the trade request. Look at the item to make sure they aren't scamming you, and then put in the currency that you owe. Boom, sale complete. Make sure you say thank you and return to your hideout to sit alone and think about if that purchase was actually a good use of your time and currency. Now for selling items, it gets a little bit more tricky. Or maybe not tricky, just inconvenient. In order to sell items in Path of Exile, you need to first buy a premium stash tab. You can buy one new or upgrade one of your current tabs. Then you mark it as public and name it something cool, and now you have your sales bank. But before I go any further, if you're asking yourself, wait, did I just pay $5 for 50 points, of which I spent 40 on a new premium stash tab? You'd be correct, you just did that. If someone wanted to say that Path of Exile is pay to win, this would be their strongest evidence. Doesn't matter how much it is, you still need to pay to access trade. And as I'll get into later, you realistically cannot play Path of Exile in a meaningful way unless you trade. But okay, you've opened up your wallet to get the premium stash tab, and now you can sell items. Place the item you want to sell in the premium stash tab and right-click on it to set a price. Then you click this check mark and your item will automatically make its way through the worldwide interwebs onto the official PoE trade site, where some lucky person will see it and want to buy it from you. Whenever that happens, if it ever happens, you'll get a whisper message, at which point you invite them to your party, they'll come to your hideout, and then you trade them the item for whatever price you ask for. At a first glance, this isn't that bad. Yeah, it's kind of a long process to set up and learn the first time, but once you do, it's fairly simple. And regardless of anything else I complain about in this video, it works. There is nothing wrong with it functionally. Good, keep thinking that. Just engage with the game, go with the flow, and enjoy all the intricacies and inconveniences, because that's just the way it is, bro. Or, instead of being okay with this, you could take things one step further, one level deeper, and ask, why does trade have to be this way? Why does it have to be inconvenient? Why is it not in the game with an auction house? What if we could trade and play the game at the same time? At a minimum, what if there was a black market dealer NPC that you could click on and it would bring up the PoE trade site? I haven't really gotten a feel for the community's thoughts on trade yet. Some of the comments on my older videos say that trade isn't that bad and people like to complain. Others say that trade is annoying and terribly inconvenient as a way to handle player-to-player interactions. Though both sides agree that GGG just doesn't care enough to address trade in any way. They are totally okay with trade being this way, and there are no plans to make it easier or more convenient to use. And I think that's my biggest problem with PoE trade. It's just unnecessarily inconvenient for a part of the game that is so necessary. Yes, trade is necessary. I don't think I can capture the absolute magnitude of difference between playing solo self-found and playing with trade. Playing solo is like trying to play basketball for the first time and you're playing against LeBron James. If you don't know exactly what you're doing, if you don't have the mastery and a deep understanding of the game, if you haven't practiced basketball over years and years of your life, LeBron will kick your ass. I'm exaggerating a bit, solo self-found is fun in its own way, but don't expect to be able to keep progressing without hundreds of hours of grinding and dying. Solo self-found requires you to use your game awareness and intelligence, along with a healthy dose of luck, to reduce the amount of time spent looking for an item upgrade. Yes, I will agree that the feeling of satisfaction you get when that item upgrade finally drops is insanely amazing, but it also doesn't happen that much. More often than not, you're just doing the best you can with the items that drop for you, and that is something only the pros can get away with. For us normal people, you aren't going to be doing uber bosses with random drops. Trade opens up parts of the game that were previously inaccessible. In a way, it offers the same benefit as following a build guide does. It allows you to focus on other things and have fun playing the game, knowing that no matter what you're doing or how much you don't know the game, you can still progress towards your goal. The easiest way to understand the benefit of trade is this. You can now quantify your time spent playing, at least more so than you could without trade. Completing repetitive maps, delves, and heists is more beneficial now, because all the trash items that have no use to your build may be worth something to someone else using a different build. So you pick it up, sell it, and now you have more currency to spend on something that is important to your build. That time wasn't wasted just because the RNG gods weren't on your side, you still received currency for your time playing. It's not guaranteed, you still could get shit drops, but it just accelerates the pace at which you can create your build and progress in the game. And buying things is so easy once you have an efficient way to get currency. Of course, it doesn't feel as good as finding it yourself, but the fact that it saves you hundreds of hours of grinding may just be worth it. But I think most of the PoE community knows that trade is the single most important mechanic of the game, so now I want to explain how inconvenient trading is. First things first, if you want to trade, you're not doing anything else. You aren't running maps while your items sit on sale and you make passive income. You aren't setting up your heist or looking at the delve map. You are in your hideout trading. To buy something, you have to scroll through the PoE trade site and wait for someone to answer you. You have to have your currency in your inventory, you have to travel to the buyer's hideout, and you have to manually accept the trade and then resume what you were doing before. To sell, you basically have to do the same thing, wait for someone to message you, and then stop whatever you're doing to go back to your hideout and manually sell your item. I don't know if other people feel this way, but after the novelty of trade wore off, I started to get extremely annoyed at how many times I had to go back to my hideout to sell my items to people who messaged me during one of my heists or delves or maps. If I was fighting a boss, that sale just wouldn't happen, because I'm not going to pause the boss fight, go back to my hideout to trade, and then press unpause on the boss fight. It doesn't matter if you can do it, because you technically can, I just don't want to. So I lost a bunch of sales just because I was busy and didn't want to leave the run I was currently doing. Why the hell would I want to leave my map to sell an item for 1 chaos orb? And it's the same experience to buy an item. To buy something, I have to take myself out of the game and just buy. This is annoying. It's a broken experience. Not only that, but if this was any other game, I feel like it would be against the terms of service or something. Think of it this way. The way you buy items in this game is to go to a separate website, scroll through a player-to-player market controlled entirely by players, and then meet up in-game to make the transaction. This is how most players in other genres go around the terms of service and sell things for real money. It's kind of funny that in Path of Exile, this is just considered the norm. Now, obviously, this isn't a malicious site or anything. You aren't paying for things in real money. I'm just trying to make the point that having trade outside the game is an anomaly, not the norm. Another thing I'm not too much a fan of is the fact that you have to go search on PoE Trade to come up with a price for the item you want to sell, unless you have the Awakened PoE Trade add-on created by the community. What a shocker that there's another add-on used to fulfill a need that the game does not. This add-on will tell you in-game what the price is for an item as long as you have it in your inventory. Again, something so simple that would take GGG no time at all to do, and they could probably do it a little bit better and it wouldn't require a GitHub download. Not to take anything away from the people who made this add-on, this is awesome. It's just annoying that we have to use this instead of having the functionality in the game. The last thing I'll mention is that trading doesn't make understanding the game any easier. In fact, it gives me a reason to just forget about the other mechanics because I don't need to learn them. I can just buy whatever item I was looking for. For example, in order to buy the 6th link that my build is telling me to buy, I need to have 4 divines. That's the price the player economy has set. Okay, that's fine. It makes perfect sense in the context of, here's an item, this is the price. Other than the fact that I know how to spend money, there's not a lot of information here that I know about the transaction. I haven't really earned the item, so I don't really know its worth in the world. I don't know where the item comes from or how rare it is, only that it costs 4 divines. And I don't really know the value of 4 divines, other than it seems like they don't drop very often and are given value by the player base, so I guess they're important. I never really had to use one, and I'm kind of scared to do that now, because crafting is inefficient, and I'd rather just save currency and buy things. I don't think it's necessary to have trade explain things to you, but I do feel that trade made every other mechanic completely worthless. Why should I do anything in the game anymore other than constantly farm currency? It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, trade makes progression easier and gives you access to items you may never find. On the other hand, trade takes away the sense of accomplishment you get from progressing and getting that item, because you didn't do anything but buy it from someone else that earned it, or at least found it somewhere in their maps. Anyway, I think I've made my stance on trading pretty clear. It's necessary but annoyingly inconvenient to take part in. It's kind of outdated. This is an online game. We have the ability to trade in-game, and GGG should have the ability to make cross-server auction houses or something similar so that people don't have to remove themselves from the game in order to buy or sell an item. As it stands right now, you have to choose. If you are not actively trading, then you are actively not trading. And you know what? I get it. You might be thinking, it seems so basic, so petty of a complaint, but again, I ask you to remember, this is a game. one that is constantly in development, constantly releasing new seasonal mechanics, new microtransactions, balancing and rebalancing stats, skills, and items. Why can't we ask for a bit more convenience here? Why do we as the players just have to accept what is given to us when our microtransactions are the reason the game is continuing to do so well? Yes, buying this stupid cute lantern bear is the reason Chris Wilson is able to lead a fulfilling life and do what he loves. Ask for more. Path of Exile doesn't need to be complicated and inconvenient. It can just be complicated and we can all be happy. Comment below with your opinions on trade. I really do want to hear what you all think of the trading system as it is, why you think it hasn't changed so much over the years, or why you think it's better this way, and changing it would actually make the game worse. But most importantly, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you liked it and subscribe for more content. I hope you are enjoying your Crucible weapons so far, and I can't wait to see what we talk about next.